Welcome back to episode 4 of Andy's Talk. I'm Braden, and today I have Riyadh and Kevin here with me. Kevin, tell me about your role at Andy's Roofing and how many years you have of roofing experience.
So I have been thrust into the role of integrator, but no one knows what that means.
Big dog GM.
So it's basically general manager for most companies. Because we do EOS, most companies don't do that. Entrepreneurial operating system. There's like the accountability chart, so integrator. So anyway, I started roofing when I was 19.
So like 1956?
19 years old.
It was definitely 1956, yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the year. So I had a kid when I was 17. I was an idiot and had to grow up really fast. And so I matured fast. I was doing UPS in the night. And I had a buddy who roofed during the day, and he's like, hey, you want to come roof? You're a hard worker. I see that. He's like, come work with us. I was like, okay, cool. A little extra money. Started doing that with him, and kind of the rest is history. I liked the hard work. I liked learning the trade. It's just weird how sometimes when you're, like, out in the field, like, I really enjoy doing that stuff.
Wait, you said you had a kid when you were 17?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I knew you had an older kid. I didn't know he was 17. How was that?
I was at St. X, so that was like the abnormal back then in the day. Everybody's like, whoa, this guy, did you hear about this guy? Yeah, everybody talked about me, and it was not cool. It was embarrassing. Now it seems like that's the norm in our culture, which is sad and unfortunate. But
Did you finish at St. X?
I did.
Nice.
Luckily, because of the help of my family.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I would not have been able to do it with James's mom and her family and my mom and dad and all that. So learned the trade, did it for, on the side. I kept doing UPS and couldn't do nights anymore. It was not sustainable with my family. So ended up actually going back to college, got my degree, and got into banking and was still doing roofing in the time being on the side.
Just like on the weekends? Or
Yeah, weekends, evenings, anytime I possibly could.
So were you a chuck and a truck?
He was a chuck and a truck. He was a chuck and a truck.
I mean, I guess
He's like,
you could say that.
I was Chad.
But
I was the chuck.
But I was very professional, and
Yeah.
people loved me, as they do now. So,
I feel like you got really offended when I just said that.
no, I never even thought about it like that. Like, yeah, I'm not a chuck in the truck. Wait a minute.
What truck were you driving? It was a car, wasn't it?
No, it was a Dodge Ram.
It was a Prius?
Yeah.
He didn't win often.
There's plenty of people that I have seen drive up in Priuses, like different vehicles. I'm like, that is completely unprofessional.
Well, that segued me into my previous experience in roofing. So some of the reps were showing up at people's houses in a Honda or a Prius and then pulling out the ladder from the truck and the trunk, and there's like, what the heck? Like,
who are these people?
I would show up in a truck. They're like, well, at least you showed up in a truck. I'm like, doesn't everyone? It's just, it kind of blew my mind.
It's a preconceived notion, so I'm glad that people don't judge based off that, but the problem is normally those people aren't professionals. Like, they do it on the side, A lot of times if you actually dig in deeper, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yep.
So let me finish my story, Riyadh.
Sorry. This is called an interactive.
I went back to banking, and I hated it. Didn't like it at all. Kind of made my way up, and then I met my wife at PNC, and so they kind of like forced our hand where we worked together, and like one of us needed to leave. And I had a friend who worked over, or had a cousin who owned Elite Roofing, and I went there as sales, and it just, I was good at it. I liked it a lot, other than actually manually doing the work, but I could still do that. And then moved from there to Covenant, which is RIP, no longer around. I've met a lot of great people along the way, and then here I am at Andy's Roofing, excited, love the group of people I work with, the culture. So, yeah, I'm not going to date and say how many years I've been doing it, but I'm
20
old.
plus.
Yeah, that's a good term. Let's say 20 plus. I've been doing it for a while. I still obviously don't know everything. You learn every day, different situations you run into, but I've seen a lot of situations and a lot of problems, so.
Well, Riyadh, before you answer that same question, I think you should take a bite of something that you brought. We're going to start off early here.
Yeah, okay, so.
Macho Man Riyadh brought some jalapeno hot peppers.
You want to know what's in my cup?
What's in your cup,
So
man?
we got habaneros. We've got serranos. There's a whole story about these, but yeah, you just want me to go and eat one?
I like that TV show, The Serranos.
Oh, you want me to just go and eat one?
Yeah, take a bite.
All right.
It's gonna turn to ASMR. That was a
I ate the whole
Sopranos
thing.
joke, by the way.
I ate the whole
Look at that.
thing.
One more bite.
Is your mouth steaming right now?
Not yet.
Not
It'll
yet.
it'll
When
start
you
to build.
swallow it, it kind of
It
just
will
like
start
builds
to
up your
build.
throat.
Yeah.
So while you
Now
take
get all
that
the
bite, tell me.
crunchiness. Yeah, it's starting to build already.
I'm you came from the real estate side into roofing. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's helped.
Okay, hold on. What was the question?
Are you sure you want to ask him this right now after he just did that?
That's his call. He brought the
So
brought the
I
peppers.
I've transitioned. Yeah. So I married into real estate. Let me back up a little bit first. I went to Western Kentucky University, got my bachelor's in microbiology, got out of the university, got my first gig, and very quickly saw that you could make more money at Skyline Chili than you could in the medical field with a bachelor's in what I was doing. So it was extremely frustrating. Then I married into real estate. Or always had like plans, always had the mindset, especially after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, about how to build wealth, multifamily real estate investing. So I always had that kind of turning in the back of my head. So got deep into real estate, got my real estate license in 2014, which I swear to this day was a whole setup. So my mother-in-law set me up with this life coaching session, free life coaching session. Go through this whole thing. You can see me getting very just physically upset to do something, like give myself permission to do something other than science. I'm like, I'm a scientist that gets paid nothing. So got into real estate 2014, we're rocking and rolling, started as a buyer agent, sell a lot of properties, help a lot of families in their most important decision usually that they're going through in their life. Transition into a coaching sales role on the team, and then I meet my best friend. So in 2012, I met Josh Overmeyer. He's our current sales manager. He's actually moving back to Ohio, but we were playing Call of Duty, and then he hits me up one day. He's like, hey, man,
Who's better at Call of Duty?
Oh, Josh is by far.
Oh, okay.
By far. At the time, I was way better. I was way better when I was going, hardcore every single day. My wife didn't like it.
Seems like you're talking about Josh. You're getting a little emotional. Your eyes are kind of.
That's all the peppers, man. I just spit on you. I just swallowed it, so we're good now. So I get a call from Josh, and he's like, aren't you a real estate agent? I said, yeah, man, I'm a realtor. What's going on? He's like, well, I'm moving down to Louisville. I'm going to take over a branch here in Louisville. I need to help you find a house. And okay, so we meet up. We become best friends. And then from 2017 on, every single time we hung out, we would stay up, always talking about objections, how to help people. That's what we did for fun.
Wait, so you met Josh on Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Like you never met before?
No, we never met before.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
That's crazy.
He
love
moved in
story online.
2017. Then we met
Were you
face to
catfished?
face.
Or was it real?
No, so I stalked
He's
him.
like, I'm 6'5", and I'm.
You stalked him?
Yeah,
Oh,
so once I
we
found
have some
out-
stalkers.
So once I found out he was moving down here and we were actually going to meet, I wanted to check him. My wife's like, is this like some type of creeper? And so found out we both stalked each other. We both found out we looked to appear to be reasonable people, and we, weren't going to kill each other or anything like that. So we meet, we hang out, we instantly have a connection, just being good friends. We stay up one night, and I swear until 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about sales, talking about challenges, roofing, real estate, just objections in both industries. By the time we were done with that, he's like, you're doing roofing. I'm like, no, I'm not. And you want to talk about a man with follow-up? That man followed up with me for 4 years to get me to commit to roofing. And then that's when I made the transition out of real estate into July of 2022 into roofing sales.
So, Riyadh, let me ask you, based on the story you just told, it sounded like you were annoyed with someone telling you to take a different path, like with your mother or mother-in-law, and then kind of same thing with Josh. Like,
yeah,
is that because you're just hard-headed and stubborn, or like you're like, no? Because it seemed like every step of the way, like you're hardworking, you figure it out, you're good at it.
I don't really have a clear answer for you on that. What I do know is anytime I start with any company I've ever started with, for some reason I rapidly go up the ladder. So I started as a line cook at Skyline Chili, and then I ended as the general manager. So it's just how things kind of work for me. And then anything I do, I like to do really, really, really well. And then once I figure it out, I'm also very committed to people. So like once I find a group or I find a company I really like, I'm extremely committed to them, so much so where it's like the ship is sinking, but I want to do everything I can to bring it back to life and save it, for better or for worse. So yeah, sometimes that transition from moving to something else takes an outside source saying, hey, you probably need to do this, not only for you, for your family, but your mental health. Let's go and transition. And I always have to go through like this, okay, is it okay to give myself permission to do something else? Because I hate to fail. And sometimes when I make a industry transition, I feel like I have failed in that prior industry. I just have to keep reminding myself it's okay to fail forward, but just don't quit.
Yeah. And that kind of segues into my next question. You talked about like how much you give to the company, you love the company and the culture. Something that some people might not know that's an interesting fact is that your drive time every day to come to a company and work, that's dedication. Why do you make that drive? Like, what about Andy's is worth that 2 hours of window time every day?
It's the people. Ethan is kind of what brought me in and sold me on coming in and getting to know the group of people. I actually like that part of the day because it helps me focus. If I'm on my way in, usually I'm praying, thinking about either the day or things that have happened, how I can become better, how I can grow. I always just want to learn and get better. And on the way home, I'm kind of like trying to get my mind down to where it's like, okay, I'm about to go home and, be a dad and be a husband. So I need to make sure that all that's kind of turned off, at least push the back burner. So the drive isn't fun, but the fact of the matter is I like coming into work because of the group of people that we have. So that part of it is not a problem. It's just sitting in traffic.
So tell me a little bit about how you got the job at Andy's, because you got here, both of you were here before I got here. So like, how did Ethan sell you? Did you see an Indeed ad? Did you know somebody? Like, how did you get the job at Andy's?
So I was actually transitioning. I had a sneaking suspicion that the company I was with as production manager, which is Covenant, was not going to do well. And they had moved me up to some roles where I knew some other things, and I was like, man, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. So I just left and didn't have a job, didn't have a plan. And the guy I used to work with, Damien, that used to work here, now a firefighter, R.I.P. Damien, love you.
He's not actually dead.
He's not actually dead.
I was like, wait a second, why did you R.I.P. Daniel?
R.I.P. of your Andy's career.
Yeah,
He moved on to bigger
he's a
and
rock
better
star.
things.
He's a rock star.
So he's like, hey, Ethan, I have this guy over here. I think he'd be a great fit. He's smart. He's been in the industry for a while. And, Ethan obviously had his reservations just because of my history of being at other companies. Like, he wants somebody like maybe a little bit younger. But we met for lunch, and it was like kind of an instant click. Like, the fact of what he was talking about, I was kind of telling him about my thoughts, where I was at with myself personally and with jobs. And so we talked for, I bet, 2 hours in his office.
That's not hard to do with Ethan.
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes.
That's pretty easy to do.
It went from one thing to another. And, you can just see the passion in his eyes every time he talks to you. And it's not about growing the company for monetary reasons. He just wants to legitimately help people.
Yeah.
And so I sense that. And I'm like, man, that's the type of person that I am too. I want to work with somebody like that. And he offered me a job, and I'm like, great. I had my own reservations, and ever since then, it's just been like, it's been great. Like, I've loved working here.
Yeah. Riyadh, by the time this comes out, we're going to talk about it so that you.
Oh gosh, what?
You are now the sales manager.
Yes.
You've moved into that role. We'll use this. We're always recruiting people like to come to our team. Why is Andy's Roofing a good fit for somebody who wants to get into that sales role? We call it a project consultant, but like you talked about that transition from an industry. So if somebody's 10 years into their career and just hates it, why would being in sales and roofing be a good idea?
There's every person's going to have their own big why and their own reason. But if someone who you're describing is maybe in sales for a while, typically looking for someone that is been a proven producer in whatever they're doing. Maybe not a top producer, because we have the ability to take those mid-tier producers and then turn them into top producers. Some of the things that I saw from coming from a previous roofing company was there was nothing provided. And I mean, there was some training, but there was nothing provided. And I mean, nothing. Like, you had to pay for your own workman's comp insurance. You had to go buy your own truck. You had to have all of your own equipment. I mean, even just down to the chalk. I mean, when you have to like start thinking and planning your day and how I'm going to do these sales and help these homeowners, and you got to worry about where is my chalk coming from. I mean, I started stealing my kids' chalk just because I would forget. Like, oh, I got to go re-up on chalk. So just the amount of support that this company gives to people and reps to make over 6 figures without a degree, it's unreal. I don't know any other industry other than sales in general that can give someone an opportunity like that. So you come in, you get all the training you need, you get a green wrap Toyota Tacoma, you get all the equipment, you get an iPad, you get the drone, you get constant support. There's not going to be another roofing company that's going to give you all that and just dive into you and invest in you, not only to do well here, but because this is all in-home sales, right? At the end of the day, this is all in-home sales. So what we want to do is mold you to the best version you are, because if this is a 1-year career for you or a 10-year career, whatever is next for you in life, we want to make sure that we prep you to be that best version of yourself, whether, that's now switching into real estate investing or stockbroking or HVAC sales or whatever, retirement. We just want to make sure that you are successful and the best version of yourself, and we will pour into you every day.
Such a good answer, buddy.
I like to piggyback off that, though. Like, the fact of that it's like a family here. Like, everybody cares about the actual personal lives, like, it's not like I'll just go home and like don't talk about work. It's like, oh, this is another red letter crappy day at work. Like, if there's any frustrations, like, it's like, well, I know we're going to pull through together.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I figured out really quickly here is like, so any job's got frustrations. It just does. Anything you do in life, there's going to be, hills, there's going to be valleys, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But I figured out very quickly with the dynamic we have and the leadership and the owner, like, we can come to each other and be like, hey, man, this is what we got to work out. At the end of the day, like, it may be frustrating, but we can pretty much squash it pretty quickly. And it's pretty unique that we can come and bring our heads together and find a resolution pretty quickly, and then be able to shut down at 5 or 6 o'clock and leave in a good mindset. And, that way you can walk home to your family and open the door and hopefully have a smile on your face and get ready for the next day.
Kevin can't walk home to his family because that would be like a 4 or 5 day walk. But
well, I do want to say that, kind of the question you're asking to Riyadh about sales and stuff like that. Like, I think what's critical, maybe it's just in this business or in sales, for me personally, it's like having a good supportive family or wife. So, like, shout out V, I love you.
V Prince.
He always says that when my phone rings. But, that's critical. Like, we're talking to people when they're coming on in sales, like, you're going to have some rough times where, you are, like, struggling mentally, and you're like, okay, am I going to make the next sale? But if you have the support at home to know that they're like, hey, you can do this, pump you up, because I know we all do that, but that's different. We're like work colleagues, we're friends too, but if you have that at home, that goes an extra mile. And so, like, my wife supporting me in this industry has been gold, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Riyadh.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. I mean, if you don't sit whoever your significant other is down and talk about this plan that you're wanting to, because it is a risk. I mean, anytime you move to a 100% commission job, there's a risk. But with the risk, there's potential for amazing reward. So, I mean, if you can sit down and just say, hey, this is what we're going to do. I need you to have my back and, cheer me on the highs and the lows. And you can come out the other end, like, really doing amazing. And then, of course, big commission checks will come in. The wife will be like, I love this company. And then when the low check comes, I hate this company. But, it's just a running joke in the industry.
Normal.
I think it's time for one more pepper for you, man.
Oh, man.
You look like
Are you serious?
You took that like a champ,
Yeah,
man. I didn't even see tears come out.
I think you need the orange one.
I didn't see tears come out, Riyadh.
Oh, my. Okay, I got 3 options. Like, do I get the biggest one?
It's up to you, man.
I'll do this.
Do you have any milk?
I don't.
Do you need milk?
He needs some milk.
Oh,
There's a
That'd be
store
fine.
across the way. I'm not going to get it.
Just go walk to Dollar General.
All right. This was all my idea. Now
Is
I'm
that
like
one-
reluctant.
is that the hotter
my
one?
hand's shaking now.
Is that the hotter one?
There's no fun about this, Riyadh. Why is this
habanero.
enjoyable? You're putting
If you
yourself
didn't want
in
to do it,
pain.
you'd be like, Riyadh, you're just not tough enough to do
You're a
it.
baby. Riyadh, you're such a baby.
All right, while you're chewing on that, Kevin, this is this is the Midwest, so sports is a big deal. What are your thoughts on your boy Kenny Payne is
Please
gone?
get him out of here.
They fired him last night. He's gone.
He's not fired.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
I promise you, he's fired.
I literally saw all these people saying, like, this is some news. Like, breaking news, they're firing him. Any idiot could have reported that, but I did not legitimately hear that he officially was fired.
He did.
It's come out, and they've officially
U of L
fired him.
basketball, the AD posted about it.
Thank God, finally. So, it's been hard to be a fan lately. I am diehard true U of L fan, but it's been awful. Like, me and my friend group always talk about how hard it is to watch. I barely watch it. Riyadh, you are all right, buddy?
I'm good.
Football's exciting. Always look forward to that. Women's basketball that's coming up. I'm excited about that.
Volleyball's big too, man. They've had a couple
They've been
good
crushing
years.
it. I keep watching them. Baseball's on a little bit of a lull.
Me and Riyadh are Kentucky fans, so this is a good year for us. We've had a couple years of straight just garbage, but
This team is, there's moments where, like, this is the best team ever.
it's like what you said with your wife. Like, this paycheck's really big, and then there's a game where you're like, this is the worst team I've ever watched
I
in my
was
life.
turning on the Tennessee game. I'm like, oh, awesome. And then it's like the last minute, they were pressuring them so badly that they got an 8-0 run in less than like 30 seconds and 4 turnovers. I'm like, this is the best, most frustrating team ever. Like, this team has the potential to win it all, but within the span of a minute, they could lose the whole thing.
Yeah.
Before we move on from that, Braden, so you're from Indiana.
I'm from Kentucky,
Where?
Okay, now I'm dying.
Louisville.
Okay. I'm trying to understand if you're from Indiana and you are like a Kentucky fan. That doesn't make sense.
So I was
Louisville's right
born-
across the bridge. So
I know I was born in Kentucky, and then our family's from Scottsburg, and then we lived in New Albany. My dad went to Kentucky though, and he played football there, so that's the
that makes
connection.
sense.
But he is a U of L fan. So
he went to Kentucky and he's a U of
Yeah.
L fan? That's backwards.
Well, his parents passed away early, and there's this guy that had tickets all the time, and they would take him to all the games at Freedom Hall. So
They were
that's
cheap.
that. Yeah.
You all right, Riyadh?
No.
Does it hurt?
Yeah. All back. So the habaneros, they get you more on the back of the tongue and then down your throat after you swallow the pepper. And it is really brutal right now.
And your stomach is about to take a turn for the
The
worse.
stomach will be okay. Tomorrow will be really rough.
Just a public service announcement. You brought the peppers.
I
You
did.
wanted to do this.
Yeah, but you pressured me and my ears are ringing now.
Yeah, and he wanted me to do it. You see, I'm not stupid enough to do
My
that.
ears are ringing now. Ooh, I love it.
So is this enjoyable for you?
It's fun.
Or you just like to test yourself?
It's fun because later when you go back to get to watch these type of things, it's funny.
Look at the camera for the little thumbnail after you're crying.
Look at the vein popping out right here
Is
on
it
his
popping
head.
out?
On this
Is
side.
it?
Yeah, right there, really bad.
Ooh, yeah, the pressure's in my ears. It's fun.
It doesn't sound fun.
Well, Kevin, give a couple of advice to homeowners right now with if they're on the edge of getting a new roof or not, right? They don't want to make the purchase.
Yep.
It's a big purchase. There's a lot of contractors they don't trust. What would be, go back to those sales routes that you got. How would you tell a homeowner, like, their roof needs to be replaced, but they don't trust anybody and they don't have the money? What's your number one advice from Andy's Roofing?
Go with your instinct and your gut. You know, our guys are not going to come out there and pressure you like you need to sign this today before I leave. You have to trust the person that you're working with. So you have to feel like a connection. It's not like you have to be friends. That's butter on top. That's great, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. So, you know, we're going to give you an honest assessment, and we're not going to just say you need a new roof so I can get another sale. Like, we're going to say, hey, this can be repairable. You might have another 3 to 5 years. This is a ballpark. Maybe you budget that and get ready for that when the time comes.
Yeah, one of our guys literally came down from the roof the other day and was like, you don't need a new roof. Your roof's fine. It's like, that's...
I can't even put a number on how many people have snowballed into becoming Andy customers because we told someone else that they actually had a clean bill of health. We go out and do a roof inspection and come down. Actually, there's nothing going on. You maybe can do a soft wash, but you've got like maybe 5 years left in your roof. And because we gave them that clean bill of health and just honesty, they turn around and refer us to everyone. So just doing the right thing and giving an honest assessment, it pays dividends later on.
I think it's the transparency. You know, we're trying to show them the pictures on company cam constantly and saying, hey, this is an area of concern, but maybe we can do this or do that. I mean, we want to see the entire project in front of you so you see everything that's going on, that we are actually going to do what we say. There's plenty of people that fluff it and don't actually follow through with that, but we want to make sure that we're transparent and they see the project from start to finish. We're actually doing what we told them we would do.
Yeah.
Yep, spot on.
Well, we're going to end this podcast with letting you know that at Andy's, we all wear the American flag here on our biceps. But we wanted to do something for our community that we're launching called Roof for Troops. Basically what that is you go to our website, there'll be a pop-up that says Roof for Troops. All you need to do is put in your information and then a submission for a veteran or somebody that's in active military that you think could use a new roof. And what we're going to do is go through all those entries. We're going to read them, and we are going to give several roofs away this year to people who serve our country and give us the freedom that we had because we just want to give back. Like, it's no other reason other than you gave a lot for us so that we can have the freedoms, and we just want to give something little like a roof back.
That's the passion of Andy's Roofing, giving back to the community.
Yep. So be on the lookout for that. Fill out that for any veterans or active military that you might have in your inner circle. Recommend them. Tell us their story, and we'd love to give a roof away to your family.